Okay guys, so what I'm going to do today is replace brake pad. So they have this little Torx head screw here that you have to remove, and then you can slide the pad out. And I bought new pads here. These are the Shimano brake shoes, they call them. They're for Dura-Ace Ultegra 105. And then these are the tools you'll need. Just a little nut driver, and then I've got the two Torx bits. I've got a T15 and a T20. For some reason the ones on the bike, these are T20, and the new kit comes with T15 Torx screws, so for whatever reason. So what I'm going to do first is take the wheel off, and then we'll get to changing the pad. Okay, the other thing you might like to do, since you have new brake pads on, is take a feel on the braking surface on the rim. You see there's a little discoloration. I can feel some very slight ridges, so what I like to do is just take a little steel wool and just clean them up. You know, this is like really fine, so you're not in danger of ruining your rims or anything, but what it does is it cleans that discoloration off. And what that is just it's the old brake pads, just pieces of it sticking to the rim. So I'll go around and clean them off all the way around, get the rims nice and shiny and clean for the brand new pads. Okay, so I've got the wheel off, and the first thing I'm going to do is just loosen up this little screw here. Sometimes they're in kind of tight, and you may need a 1/4-inch ratchet or something like that to get it out, but these aren't too bad. At least this one isn't. So there's the little bitty screw, and then after that the pad should slide out to the back. May need to squeeze the brake lever in a little bit, and voila, there's the pad. And you can see, I don't know, I'm seeing some bits of metal and some, you know, it's just worn. And it's hard as a rock too. The surface is just like a rock, so it's time for a new one. Okay, so here's the two pads. One thing you'll notice is it's a bit rounded. I don't know if you can notice that. And the back part is a bit thicker than the front. See how it's narrower here and a little bit thicker there? It's kind of hard to notice. So you want to make sure you get it in correctly and that the rounding is with the curve of the wheel. You don't want to put them in upside down. That's not going to work. So I'm going to slide this pad in. So I'll just squeeze the brake lever a little bit and slide the new pad into place. It's pretty simple. It just slides right in. Make sure you get it all the way to the front. And then you could reuse the little screw that you took out, but the new pads come with new screws, so I always put the new screw in. So you just put it on there, get it set on the Torx, and they do, it looks like they have a little something on the thread there, so it may be some sort of Loctite type thing that keeps them from rattling loose. And I'm sure there's a torque specification on this, but I just put it in until it stops. Just light, you don't have to really torque these down, just snug with your hand. Okay, so that's the one. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay guys, I got the new pads on, and one thing I wanted to show you, the front of the brake is actually catching first, and the back isn't touching at all. And what tipped me off to this was the brake pad. Here's the one that came off, and if you look at the pad, I guess it was on like this, and you see how it's low on this side and a little bit higher on this side. So the pad was offset, so it had this funny wear pattern like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this bolt right here. I'm going to adjust the whole shoe so it catches properly. Okay, so I've got my handy 3-way tool, and this is a 4mm bolt on here. So I'm just going to put it on there and loosen it up. You'll see that it's going to turn. I try to hold it a little bit, but I've got to get it loose first. Alright, so now there are washers and things in here, and sometimes they just get a little cockeyed. So I'm going to try to get it so it'll be on there and strike the rim in such a way it'll be right in the middle of the braking surface when it grabs. Alright, let's see how that works. Okay, that's very good. It's hitting, the pad is hitting roughly at the same time all the way from the front to the back. It's touching the rim at the same time, but the problem I have is now that this pad is hitting the rim first. So there's an adjustment nut here that I'll do next. Okay, so I've got my 2mm, that's right, 2mm Allen wrench, and it fits right into this little adjustment bolt on top. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get it, this adjuster, and I should put these down, but I'm afraid, yeah, I've got this adjusted all the way down. Let's see here. Yeah, I've got the adjustment screw. This takes up your cable slack, so I've got it all the way down. I've got the quick release down. The problem is there's not much slack there. Now I could undo this and feed some cable back, but what I'll do is I'll just leave this a little bit loose. Maybe a lot loose. People don't like to do that, and the proper way would be to just back the cable off, but I don't like re-biting the cable because it weakens it. So if I slid this up, then a creased portion of the cable would be up here, and that'd be part of your braking surface, and it could give way at some point, and you don't want that. So I'll just run it with this thing a little bit open. I don't see a big problem with that. It looks funny, but I'm not bothered by that. If you're bothered by that, you'll need to pull more cable through, but I'm not too worried. So what I'm checking is I'm checking each side of the brake. You want them to both touch at the same time, and sometimes if one touches too soon, it actually moves the wheel over. You can see it. And you just adjust this screw. I'm turning it clockwise to bring it over so that the pads will grab at the same time, because this one was hitting first. Now there, looks like I've got it just about right. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'll take it out for a test ride and we'll see how that does. Yeah, that looks pretty good. You can always adjust these later, and see I've got my quick release up a little bit, but as the pads wear, it'll get so you can put it back down. So to me, that's not a big issue. Alright guys, so that's how you do brake pads. I guess the takeaways is look at the pads when you take them out. If they're worn unevenly, then you'll have to make an adjustment here, and then when you put them back in, if one side hits before the other, your adjustment is right here. So I hope that's helpful, and good luck changing your own brake pads.